Normally, I'm on camera every video, but this time, I want your eyes to focus on the pure amazingness you're about to witness. My friends, welcome to what I think now just might be the best Nintendo Switch game of the fall. You heard that right. Pikmin 3 Deluxe is out this fall. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is out this fall. A lot of really interesting indies are out this fall. And I'm here to tell you that I think Immortals Fenyx Rising is going to be the best game you can buy on your Switch this holiday season. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce, and oh my goodness, this game is amazing looking. It is gorgeous, it is stunning, and it is supercharged Breath of the Wild action. And this time, I played so much of the game from the start. I learned how it works, the structure, the flow, and I'm telling you, this is so much fun. Make sure to smash that like button if you enjoy the video and are pumped for something third-party, big, unique, and fun on Switch. And let me know in the comments down below what you think of the game. What I was looking for most this time, because I've played the game before, but in this extra long session of 4 to 5 hours, from the beginning, I wanted to find out if the game had the variety and the, I guess, the little things, right? Is the way they set up quests more than just a map screen with all sorts of icons? Is the story something I'm going to care about and be interested in beyond the first 30 minutes? Is the character customization fleshed out? And I can tell you for the most part, this game hits all the marks I was hoping it would hit. Right now you're looking at a supercharged character that let me unlock everything towards the end of my demo time just so I could get a sense of what your Fenyx can do. Because you can make your Fenyx in your own image. Male, female, all sorts of different hairstyles, skin colors, options, voices, and then of course you got all the powers and perks that you can pick. The story starts off as this battle, a retelling, gosh, the pinks and the blues, goodness gracious. Call me a mom, because I can't decide which one I'd rather have. They're both so darn gorgeous. I love the look of the game, and I hope that they can make it look even half as good as this on Switch. It was stunning to play on PC, and while I have yet to see the Switch version in action, my fingers are crossed given Ubisoft's history of making Mario plus Rabbids look pretty good on the system, and other titles, that they'll be able to deliver a pretty awesome port. But anyhow, the story is this retelling between two gods, and one has a more, oh my gosh, the skyboxes, the draw distance. I don't know if the Switch is technically capable of this, because like legitimately this is impressive. It's legitimately crazy impressive, and I think that of all Ubisoft's open world releases this year, this is going to be the best one. Yes, I think this game is going to be better and score higher than Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Watch Dogs Legion. I don't think it'll sell more because it's a new IP, and I think it's really under the radar, and I think people are going to be turned off by its goofy color scheme. But I think it's beautiful. Anyhow, these two gods, one is retelling it more sarcastically, one is retelling it more seriously, and it's a really great comedic setup. And I don't feel that it veers into a corny place, and I'm very picky about my stories. I think the way that they have set up the overall infrastructure of Immortals Fenyx Rising is actually quite brilliant. That was a great shot, by the way, playing freaking pinball with that big red orb. You pick your quests, guys, by freeing gods and goddesses, okay? That is the impetus of this game. You got to return the gods and goddesses so you can take down the big bad. And the way that you start the quest lines is by climbing their statues in the world. Climbing to the top of their tower and then beginning your progression through their quest line. And I thought maybe the quest lines would be, I don't know, 1 or 2 pieces. No. The quest line I started about 45 minutes into my demo, continued for all 4 hours. It was fantastic to see the depth and variety, the cutscenes, and just the overall scope and scale that this game has. And I think it's just such a fun way to structure things. To have you climb these big god, goddess towers, and then from there see out into the world, open up parts of the map, and accomplish your task of returning them to their former glory. I think it's just a great setup. The combat, which we spoke heavily about last video, is also incredible. It is very fast-paced, it is very fluid, and the strongest element of this game is the flow that exists as you move from traversal to movement to combat. It effortlessly blends together like a beautiful smoothie. It's delicious for every lick. And it looks so nice. I mean, you have different weaponry that you can use. You've got light attacks, heavy attacks, special attacks. You sprint, run with ease. You have wings to fly. You're jumping, you're climbing. There's a stamina bar and a health bar. You got health potions, you got stamina potions. You have a mount. And all of this just mixes beautifully. Here I am climbing one of these beautiful big god towers to start a quest line here. It's pretty darn awesome. I love the world, and I was super happy to see that we get a lot of variety. Last time it was a lot of browns, and it was a lot of the same looking environment with, fractured lands and some lava flows, an ocean or two. But here we start off, and we see a darkened, almost depressive landscape. And it quickly erupts into an explosion of color. The world becomes painted, and it looks just like the initial trailer that I think drew everyone to, this game could be really fantastic. Back then it was called Gods and Monsters, and it still is about gods and monsters. If I had any complaint, I would say that thus far, I haven't seen a ton of enemy variety, nor do I feel like the power variety goes far enough. I wish that you unlocked new powers or many more new powers along the way rather than just modifying, expanding, and improving your powers, but alas, that is where the game finds its weakness. These shrines, if you will, these puzzles, the first time I played, they felt insanely reminiscent of Breath of the Wild, and they still do. But I was impressed this time to see a lot more variety in the puzzles they put forth, a lot more interesting mechanics, a lot more platforming, honestly. And because this game is so fun to control Fenyx, it works very well. You'll find combat challenges, you'll find ones that feel like pinball, and yes, you are manipulating objects and items in the same way that Link does in Breath of the Wild. But I feel like, honestly, this is maybe a stronger realization of that overall system, because the character responds better, and the systems feel more player-friendly than they did previously. Now, I'm not here to say that this is a better game than Breath of the Wild, because that is a beloved title. But I think this might be more enjoyable to play moment to moment. Will it live up to the lore of Legend of Zelda, the impact, and the overall artistry that Nintendo was able to evoke and inject into that cartridge? Probably not. But I do think that Immortals is a far better game than anyone is currently giving it credit for. When I first played, I thought it was fun. Now I think it's a must-buy. If you own a Switch, provided this game runs proficiently, and that's a big provided, because in my mind, there is a chance that this game runs like crap on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case, because I have confidence that Ubisoft knows that the Switch audience is a really important piece of their sales plan. Everybody on the Switch loves Breath of the Wild. They're eagerly anticipating Breath of the Wild 2. And this game coming out in December, it's the perfect big game to get you through the wintry months. I honestly think that this is going to be the best fall game on Nintendo Switch. I don't know if Age of Calamity will end up delivering more than a typical Musou title, but I really think that the scope, scale, and just interesting world that this game is able to create with a charismatic and comedic cast of characters, a fantastically fluid combat and traversal system, and a world that has proven its ability to be diverse, varied, and visually intriguing. I think it's going to surprise all of you, and I'd encourage you to give it a look when it comes out. Now, this is not sponsored in any way. I'm able to come here and tell you that I think the game sucked, but it just doesn't. It just doesn't, and it's really, really nice to see Ubisoft trying a new IP and doing something that ends up working so well, because I'm a little burnt out on their already existing franchises. I will say that the game really feels like Breath of the Wild, and if that's going to offend you, or if you didn't like Breath of the Wild, then you might want to stick far from this guy. But it has been 3.5 years since BOTW, and there aren't many games like it on Nintendo Switch. So if this one is able to mix a really interesting world with great combat, fluid and fast-paced movement, and it runs well, this quickly moves above, for me, a lot of the other, quote, big titles on the Switch. And this quickly feels and rises the ranks towards a first-party caliber title. Yes, it's missing some of the overall and finer detailed polish that a Nintendo game absolutely includes, but you're going to be surprised by how well this game comes together. And it doesn't feel corny. It doesn't feel rote. A lot of that has to do with the visual aspect, but it also has to do with the way that you solve puzzles, the different moves that you acquire, the enemies that you face, the world, the verticality. This is a nice evolution of what we've come to know from a game in this style. And I don't think it bogs itself down with too many like, oh, trail the NPC while they tell you the secret type quests. It really doesn't seem to care about all that much seriousness. It more cares about the player having fun. And what has Miyamoto said many a time, and what does Nintendo stand for and strive for? The player having fun when they pick up the controller and they play. This is a great game to play, and I can't wait for you to get a chance to see it for yourself. It's December 3rd, it's a full price title, and it's really freaking good. So Immortals Fenyx Rising, when 2020 is all said and done, I think this ends up being everybody's favorite game of the fall, and that's something that surprises and shocks the heck out of me. I never thought I'd be saying that. I mean, I thought Nintendo would be delivering a really big Mario, Zelda, major tentpole title for the end of 2020. And it just didn't happen. Whether that was never the plan or whether COVID had extreme effects, I don't know. But instead, we're getting Immortals. And thank goodness we are. Because the end of the year feels pretty slight for our Switch system. And I'm glad that something with scope and oomph is ready to emerge. Build your character, enjoy the combat, and brutalize all of these Cyclops. However you say it, take them down and wear the crown, because Fenyx is really something special. Thank you everybody for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your take in the comments down below. It is a downright gorgeous game, isn't it? Goodness gracious. I love those pinks and blues, and I really like the celestial skyboxes of these magical underground puzzle palaces. And I encourage you, despite the IP being, you know, it's Greek mythology without maybe a main face, because you create your character and it definitely doesn't have Mario and it sure isn't Link. But look at this game, man. It's a lot of fun. Thanks so much for supporting me and being here throughout the year. I love you all so much. I hope you stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart out there. Thanks to Ubisoft for letting me demo the game early and hooking me up with some access. That was really cool and fun. But most importantly, the game gets the job done. And at the end of the day, content is king. This game has a lot of it, and it has a lot of good content. So with that, we'll wrap up. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Remember, special shout out. And until next time, thanks again. SwitchForce out.